Hey all you gays and gals, I'm Chris, aka ChristopherJMUA, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Dollhouse Eyeshadow Palette. And if you haven't heard of Blend Bunny Cosmetics at this point, what rock have you been living under? First we had the OG Blends palette, which was amazing in itself. I also reviewed this palette. I'll leave the video linked right up here if I remember to. Then we had the Surge palette. I unfortunately did not get a chance to try that one out, but here we are with the third in the installment, the Dollhouse. So if you'd like to see how she looks on the inside, see the swatches, see how the shadows perform, and what look I can potentially create, then stay exactly where you are because we're getting into it right now. Palette is the exact same size as the Blends palette. Since I didn't try the Surge palette, don't know for sure if it's the same size as that one, and I got this from the Blend Bunny Cosmetics website for $45. On the back it shows all the shades and the shade names. In the palette it says 30 neutral glam shades. You guys know I'm all about some neutral glam, and if we open her up, I'm guessing the palette's gonna look just like the unit carton it comes in, and it does! It's an exact duplicate. Now let's open it up and see how she looks on the inside. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm really excited. Ah! Oh, okay, I see. The pictures online do not do this justice. This is much more rich than it looked online. Oh, I'm so excited. But for now, let's go ahead and zoom in so we can see the swatches. That's gonna be a lot of swatches. First shade is the shade Mannequin. Glass Eyes, Lace, Pretend, Tool, Pin Curls, Undress, Hold Me, Display, Pose, Baby Doll, Porcelain, Plastic, No Strings, Attic, Vintage, Rouge, Figure, Fasten, Cinched, Stitched, Silhouette. Oh, I'm running out of room. Plume, Madame, Marionette, Imaginary, Harlequin, Dress Up, Little Sister, and Chantilly. So here's all the swatches from the Blend Bunny Cosmetics, the Dollhouse Eyeshadow Palette. And as always, here's some photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. Now let's get in here and really see these babies close up. Ooh, look at that. They're so beautiful. I believe this is probably the most versatile neutral palette I own at this point. You can literally take your look any direction with this, and I love that this doesn't leave anybody out. There are so many neutral palettes on the market that are only gonna hit light to light medium skin tones, and that's it. And that's ridiculous to me. So now, for $45 and 30 shades, you can get as deep as you want, because there's a black, and many versions of dark brown, or dark shades, we'll just say. And at first, just with the basic swatches, looking at shades like these three as an example, and like these two as an example, I thought that they were just really close alike, and I couldn't see how they could justifiably be different shades in the palette. But I put them on the back of my hand and just kind of smoothed them out a little bit, and they are completely different shades. Madame is more of a green-based kind of dark brown. Silhouette is more of a purple-based dark brown. Then the Stitched is black. And then Display and Pose are completely different undertones. One is warm and one is cool. I enjoy the fact that you can take things in different directions if you want to, but you're not strictly limited to just what the company decides you get. This is a palette for people who want options, for creatives, or if you just want to play. It's perfect for that too. But this one is the most fun for just playing. It's bright and bold and colorful, and you can make any kind of look you want. There's just no shimmers in it. But if you had this palette and the blends palette, you could combine the best of both worlds and get all of your shimmers out of this to go with the mattes and the blends palette. Anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and jump into a look. I feel like it's been a really long time since I've gone in with anything green, so that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna go in with the shade Figure first, using the Morphe M441 brush, and just blow that out all over the crease. Sort of make it my overall tone. There's hardly any kickback in the pan too. That's even more amazing. Lets me know they're pressed a little more firmly, so they're gonna build up a little more slowly. They're not gonna be super punchy as soon as you go in, but I prefer that. I like being able to build it up and make it whatever color and intensity I want. Blend Bunny just knows what her customers want. It sure does seem like it, especially based on the rate of popularity that Blend Bunny has. She just does amazing. This is a very interesting green. It's very olive, but it's also pretty gray. It sort of even looks like it's gray when you turn in certain directions. I bet you if I didn't have all of the studio light on, it would probably look gray. I gotta quit moving my camera. I feel like every time I come back to record another video, it's up too high, or it's zoomed out too much, or it's too low, or something. Is that better? We're gonna say that's better. And you guys know I gotta pull up a little arc over here, make sure I give a nice little wing kind of shape, and then fill it in. That built up wonderfully. You can see where I packed on the extra pigment and it kind of deepened it just a little bit, but then as I blended it on the outsides, it just turned into this really soft ochre kind of gradient. It's really cool. I like how I can get two different shades out of it. I mean, really, if I wanted to, I could just keep blending and take it all the way up to the brow bone, put a shimmer on the lid, and be done. That could be it. But we have to try more shades than that. I can't leave you hanging. We are off to a swimmingly wonderful start. I think that this green is a beautiful green. It's not quite like a lime green, it's not quite a forest green, and it's not quite an olive green. It's sort of a mix of all three and then toned down just a little bit. It's nice for a neutral glam kind of palette. Fits the theme for sure. Now let's move on using the Elena Badro, whatever this brush is called. Brush. I'm gonna take the shade of Porcelain and try to make that sort of the inner corner color. I just really don't know if it's gonna work with the green because it's very peachy. But I'm living life on the wild side today with my neutral glam palette. Yep, she's a builder all right. Ooh. But it does build, as long as it does what I need it to do. That would actually be a gorgeous under eye highlighter, like for a highlighting powder. Maybe I should use that today. Ooh, and the rouge shade in the palette would make a really pretty blush. And the Attic shade would be a perfect brow color for me. And this lace shade would be a beautiful highlight. This might be like my whole face today. I don't know, we'll see. Now, since this is all applied and blown out, I'm gonna start trying to pull it a little bit into the green and see if they blend. It'll probably turn into some weird brown shade, but as long as they blend in together, I don't care. or at least have a smooth gradient between the two. That is perfect. I don't even know that made a new color. I think they just melted into each other. Can you see what I mean? It just goes from the light peachy tone into the grayish green. Wow. Yay! Then I'm gonna grab the same brush I was using already, the green one, the M441, and just make sure that I pull some of that green back forward, but a tiny bit just into the crease. This is sort of just kind of like my eye shape method. You guys know at this point that I love a two-tone crease. I feel like I do it every single time. It just works for me. It lets me try multiple shades and make the look a little bit more interesting without really having to branch off into a quadruple cut crease or anything like that. But when I do that sometimes, I lose the dimension. So doing this just sort of pulls it back into the crease and gives me a little bit of a shadow there again that I wouldn't have had if I just left it as it was. See what I mean? It's there again, but just barely. Now that I've gotten those two shades blended together on both eyes, I really like how this is coming along, but it needs to be deeper for sure. So I'm gonna use the shade Madame and this Morphe brush that's really wide and fluffy, and use that in the innermost portion of the crease to just really start getting it kind of vampy, add the drama in. And to be safe rather than sorry, I'm gonna start just on the furthest point. That way I can see how dark it'll get before I take it all over the rest of the eye. Yeah, that's it. That is the drama I wanted. And it is the perfect black/dark brown. I don't really know what it is exactly, but it has enough green in it to just work perfectly with this figure shade. I'm not gonna pull it any further in than that. And instead what I'm gonna do is grab the first brush again and then just pull that a little bit further in with the bigger brush that had the green on it so it doesn't just get really dark everywhere. I have no idea how many times I ended up putting black or just a dark shade and then over blending it. And then of course that dark shade ends up like up here or all the way up here or all the way out here. And I can't really do anything about it anymore. So I try to be more careful now and just build slowly instead. Although it does seem like it's getting a little out of hand. Leave it up to me, okay? Just leave it up to me. Now that the shade Madame is completely blended out, it actually does look like it's kind of a gray instead of a solid black, which for reference, this is the shade Madame that I'm using right now, and then this is the shade Stitched, the solid black. So you can tell that they are different for sure. They're just so close. But one is like this pretty cool espresso, and then the other one is black. Now let's make some magic happen on these lids with some shimmer, of course. But first I need to go off camera and cut my crease so that I can blend out the creasing that is happening. Then I'll be right back. I'm now cut like a slice of pizza, and I'm gonna use this Morphe X Nikita in-1 brush and go into the shade Chantilly. She's gonna be the lid shade on the inner corner, and on the outer corner I'm gonna use a different shade. Oh wow, this shadow is like a cream. As I push the brush in, I'm not picking anything up, it's just sliding over the top. Probably gonna be very metallic too once I can pick it up and put it on my eye. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna try this Wet n Wild brush instead, see if it does anything. If not, then I'm gonna have to go in with my foam tip applicator instead. Well, that's a little better. I mean, at least it's putting a little bit of pigment down, but there's literally no shimmer to that, is there? No, there's no reflect. So it's just picking up the base in the shadow and not really even doing anything. I'm gonna use the ring finger and just try to put it on that way. I bet that'll work. Yeah, that worked. Oh, wow. Look at how metallic that is. That is like a green mirror. It's really gonna bother me if I can't get a clean application all the way around. So I'm gonna go through brushes until I find one that works. There it is. Okay. So this brush will do it. It's because it's still a flat brush, but it doesn't have a pointed taper to it. It's widened at the end. So it's more of like a fluffy flat brush instead of a sharp flat brush, but that's what it takes. Okay, now I'm gonna use the Morphe X Nikita in-2 brush. It was in-2, right? No, in-1 brush, and use the shade Harlequin on the outer edges of the lid, sort of to marry this dark brown crease shade with the light green lid shade. Hey, it kinda did, I think. Yeah! Okay, goody goody. This is such a rich green. It's like a deep emerald. Now this lace shade has been calling my name since the moment I opened the palette. It looks like it's the brightest, widest, most gleaming shade in the palette. So I'm gonna use the Morphe X Madison Beer flat pointed brush. Again, I don't know what it's called. And try to take lace and put it on my brow bone. I don't know if this is gonna perform more like a topper shade. It very well might. But if it doesn't, it should be a wonderful brow bone highlight. It's so gorgeous. Oh, that could literally work with anything. I love that shade. That is just perfection. It's impeccable, it's seamless, it's beautiful. Now that I finished off the brow bone highlight, I need to move on to the lower lash line. But to do that, I need some face makeup. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw my face on, and I'll see you in just a jiffy. Okay, it's lower lash line time now, but before we move on to that, I just wanna let you guys know I did end up using this palette for blush and highlighter, and oh my goodness, they both worked beautifully. So for blush, I took the shade Undress and Baby Doll here and mixed those two together, and that's what shade this made. Well, it's not really bright because the shades were really light, but it just kind of gave me a tint of rosiness, some pinky mauve rosiness, and I liked that. Then for brows, I used the shade Fasten for all the front parts, which it was kind of red and I didn't realize it, but it was okay, it looked good. And then Madame, like I used in the crease, for the tail because it was so dark. And then highlighter, I mixed Lace and Pretend, and look at that flip. Oh my gosh. Just thought I'd let you know that I was able to pretty much form a full face of complexion products just by using the palette, and that's insane. I love that. Oh, I also put a little bit of the shade Porcelain under my eyes just to set my concealer, just to see if it would do anything. It really didn't. I mean, it gave me some peachiness under there, just like it did for the inner corner, but not a whole lot. Now for the lower lash line, I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna use this Morphe X Madison Beer Bullet Crease Brush, and first go into the shade Rouge. I just wanna make the lower lash line something different than all of the green. This mirror is way too big. Why am I holding that? This palette is letting me live my best life. I'm loving playing in just the random colors and making it different, fun. Now I'm gonna use the step one for the money brush from the Vintage Cosmetics company and go into the shade Plastic. I'm gonna try to blend out this rouge purple maroon shade with plastic. I don't know, might be cute. I went ahead and threw some mascara on my lower lashes just to finish off the look completely, and this is it. So what do you guys think? I've had more fun playing with this palette than I have, I think, almost any other neutral glam palette. I don't know if I would even call this a neutral glam palette. Maybe half neutral glam palette, but you can take it so much further than that. But you can make it brown, you can make it blue, you can make it violet skies. But seriously, there's a lot of variety and a lot of range in this palette. Not only is it gonna fit any skin tone because of that range, but it's also gonna fit any need. If you want neutrals, you got it. If you want colors, you got it. Maybe not the most robust, vibrant primary colors, but you still got some colors to play with. So whether you're an everyday neutral person or you just want to spice it up a little bit and add a tiny bit of color just to emphasize the mood, you can. So in my opinion, Blend Bunny has done it again. We have another winner here yet again to pair with the Blends palette, to pair with the Surge palette if you got that one, which I did not. But I think the Blends palette and this palette, pretty much the perfect pairing to get any kind of look you need. You've got all your neutrals in the Dollhouse, and you've got all your brights in the blends. And now that I've given my thoughts, I want to know what you guys think. The main thing I want to know is if you watched my blends review, do you like the Blends palette more or the Dollhouse palette more? Let me know down in the comments, give me your thoughts, your opinions. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and you had fun just hanging out with me, watching me review the Dollhouse palette, and you're a kind person, it'd be really cool if you wanted to give me a thumbs up just to let me know you enjoyed it. And it'd be even cooler if you remember to hit that subscribe button right down there and hit the little notification bell right beside that so you'll be alerted every time I upload. I upload every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, unless I experience technical difficulties, which is like twice a month because our internet is terrible. And if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, then please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.